Hey, True Believers England team here with Eric back issue Breen. How are you today, sir?
I'm all right.
Nobody.
No, I'm sorry. I got to do it like Geeky Publisher. I'm all right.
All right. All right. Yeah. So okay. Yeah. You saw the thumbnail. I've watched these videos. I watched the speculator videos ever since somebody commissioned a video to talk about Comic Tom. I kind of got into that world. You know, this book is going to be worth this much. That book is going to be worth that much. And it's all usually based on there's a movie coming out. So right now, the way that they made all the Marvel books go up in value, they're about to do that to DC. So any little bit of any first appearance is now a key issue. And I've heard, and I've talked to some as I meet going through the comic shops, even at the flea market I work at. There, I met a guy, and he was talking about this is a key vigilante issue, which blow my mind. Vigilante has keys. I had no idea. When at Marvel, it was the same thing. Somebody said, "I'm looking for all of the Sleepwalker keys." Don't exist, dude. They just don't. Maybe number one. You know, but that's something that happens. The whole speculator market, they announce, oh, this movie's been optioned, or this comic's been optioned. All comics have been. It's not anything new. You know, there's everything at some point in time is, oh, we're going to make a movie out of that. Okay, sure. Like I said before about the New Mutants, believe it after you see it, because otherwise it's not happening. But the tide's kind of turning on things where I'm also seeing now a lot of regret going into the slabbing. People are realizing maybe it's not worth so much, especially after CGC's controversy. And now, in order to make up for the controversy, did you hear about this, Eric? They're leaning heavy on 9/9s instead of 9/8s.
I heard something about that. Yeah.
It's and so it's kind of like the numbers are arbitrary. I don't know if you ever saw a TV show called Community, but there's this one episode where they discover that like minuses and pluses are arbitrary. You know, they gave an A. Oh well, if you want to screw with them, give them a minus, and you know it's the kind of the same thing, especially after we saw the documentary where this girl's walking around going, well, all you need is it's all arbitrary. It all is. And people are starting to realize it. Now the speculators are still trying to hold on. Speculators are still trying to just CGC's the one, man. CGC's the one. And I watched the videos, and here's something I noticed, and this is what bothers me. There's a guy named Mint Hunter. Like his stuff, I started watching, but then I realized he never talks about the books. He never mentions the books. I mean, he'll say like, well, you know, this is a Justice League and it's #1 and it's blah, 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 yada, yada. But what he'll do is go, oh, wow, this is a 9/6. If I press this, I could get a 9/8. You know, and every time a book comes up, it's the same thing. Well, this is this number. If I go clean it, I'll send it back and it'll be, you know, I'll get the next number up. And it made me wonder, well, what's the collection here? Are you collecting comic books or are you actually collecting just numbers?
Yeah, I said before, if that's what you want to do, that's great. And I don't mind it as much if these folks want to waste their time trying to get their 9/6s to 9/8s, if it's a modern book or a variant cover of a modern book. When it started, you know, going through the back issues and driving up the prices, like when you have a series and 98% of it is very affordable to collect, but since Nose Ring Boy's first appearance was in issue 17. That's worth $200 when the rest of them are worth $4 and $5. Or that's what bothers me, because I think that disincentivizes collecting, because we all know it. One of the problems with collectors is we tend to be anal. We tend to be completionists. And nobody wants 48 issues out of a 50-issue run, because and the reason why they don't have 49 and 50 is because they can't afford them.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people will just opt not to collect the other 48. And that's, yeah, I said that's been my biggest problem with them. That and the fact that everybody that doesn't know, squat about comics glommed onto the Amazing Spider-Man run and made that title just unobtainable for 99. If you can afford the Spider-Mans, there's a good chance you don't actually collect comics. You're a hedge fund guy, or like Richard likes to say, a divorced dentist. And so that's, and that sucks, because if you are a collector of comics, you love that title.
Yeah.
And you can't afford it anymore.
That's one of the things I pointed out is they don't talk about the books, and this whole kind of chain of consciousness, or whatever you call it, it came from the fact that we were talking about the auctions one day, and the difference between the auction we run and some of the auctions that other people run is we're talking about, like I said, we'll go, this Justice League is actually a really good story. What you got in it is this and that. And by the way, I'm only using this because it's literally, I'm not like Eric. I can't pull out a freaking Fantastic Four #1 or something behind me or anything. I've just got the Justice League I was reading. But the point being is that we do actually talk about and try to sell the books based on what's inside. Now, granted, and I will always own up to this, occasionally we will get one of the, but we still talk about how good it is, even though there's a $15 price tag attached to it. We'll still talk about how that is a great book to freaking read. And it never happens that way in other ones. I've watched other auctions. I've watched claim sales. The Minhunter guy. Once again, oh, by the way, I like his stuff. I like his videos. He seems to be a good guy. I actually do believe he's a comic book collector. It's just that if you only went by the videos, you wouldn't know it. You would have no clue that this guy actually cracks these comics open. As a matter of fact, it seems like he avoids it off the videos. It seems like he avoids it by all means. And this is something that always weirded me out. Look, you're an adult, collect comics the way you want. These are just opinions, right? But one of the things that weirded me out, that's a weird thing to say, but it kind of confuses me, that you have a holy grail. This is a comic book you want. This is a comic book you have searched for. Let's go get. And the first thing you do is send it away for 6 months, or maybe you pay the extra money so it comes back in 2. And then, because it got a 9.6, you press that mother and you send it out for another 6 months, or maybe 2 if you pay extra. Your holy grail isn't the book itself. It isn't the Sergeant Rock 100-page special. It's that freaking number in the corner that you're going to get. If that's what you're, I'm sure if I do this, I could get a 9.8. Then you're not collecting comics. You're collecting 9.8. Get yourself a freaking label maker. It's a lot cheaper. You'll always get the 9.8 because you could just make it that way. But I get it. Like you said, you're an adult, you do it, but it does mess up the hobby for other people. It messes up the hobby for the poor people, or maybe the middle class people who can't afford these incredible speculator prices that, by the way, most of them are false. Well, I can't say most of them. A lot of them are false, because we do know that there was the whole CGC bullshit thing that went on. And we do know that the way a lot of these prices go up is that I will have this copy. Now I'm picking up a better book. I will have this copy of Sergeant Rock, and Eric will have a copy of the Sergeant Rock, and Graphic Man, hello in the chat, will have a copy of the Sergeant Rock, right? So I put mine on eBay first, and I put it at its, let's say, 40 bucks. Okay, fine. Eric and Graphic Man, my friends, get into a bidding war and drive that to $100. Okay. Now, Eric has his copy. He puts it on eBay at that $100. Now, me and Graphic Man, we get into a bidding war, and we drive that up to $150. Now, Graphic Man puts his up for $150. Me and Eric get into a bidding war and drive that puppy up to $200, maybe $250. Now, all of a sudden, this book, which in this condition, I put 15, but really it's probably about 25, maybe 30 in this condition, is now a $250 book, because that's what people on eBay saw it. And then now the other people are going to start selling it for. And because they think it's a $250 book, people are going to buy it for that. That has happened with so many freaking titles. I have met people, many people, who have owned up to that's how they drive the prices up.
You know what that just told me?
What?
The Graphic Man's smarter than the two of us, because
I know he waits until the end. No, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. After we all do that, since we're friends, we mark it as shipped, we mark it as received, the whole 9 yards. But now each of us put our own copy up at $250. That's how it works. That's the scam behind this speculation market. I know some people need to hear this, so I'll say it, but I think it's a bullshit statement. Not all. I freaking hate when somebody said something. Do you mean every? Go yourself with that. You try to be smarter, okay? Obviously, there's always exceptions to the rules. But that's when I found that out. Are you kidding me? You guys really freaking manipulate the market like that? It was almost like you're breaking my heart, Charlie. You're breaking my heart. It was I don't know. And now and ultimately, of course, I'm off of slabs and I'm just onto the speculator market and such like this. By the way, awesome book. But that's where it begins. Okay, so now you got your $250 or your $250 book. You want to buy it because it's your grail, but you buy it, and because you paid $250, you want to protect it. You send it away for 6 months, and when it comes back at 9.6, you're like, oh shit, that's not worth anything. And it's amazing the difference of price between 9.8 and 9.6.
Yeah, but there's a 99.9% chance that if you're trying to get your 96 to a 9.6 to a 9.8, you're probably talking about a modern book, because the older books, the number of comics copies that get that kind of number are just infinitesimal.
Yeah.
And if you're doing something modern, let's be honest, ain't nobody's grail. A modern comic.
Oh, I beg to differ, sir. The variant covers, people go freaking nuts for those.
I'm not saying that they don't, but I'm just saying that when you're talking a grail, like I said, I've adjusted mine.
Yeah,
mine's now Avengers 9 versus Avengers 4. I've
got weird grails.
I'm not going to find a 9.6 Avengers 9. So I said, but the 1 in 1,500 variant of a comic, like I said, those are for people that literally it satisfies that itch of gambling and hunting, I guess, all maybe. In one.
And you know what? That might be it. Look, the hunt is over. I love hunting comics. You love hunting comics, but for us, we go to shows, we go to comic shops, we look around. But if you want, your book is online. Your book is on eBay. Your book is on Amazon. It's somewhere. You can find it somewhere online. So somewhat the hunt is over. If you want it that bad, it's out there for you somewhere. It's on a YouTube auction at 8 o'clock every Saturday, maybe, just saying. But point being is that might be what's going on now. Now it's not so much you're hunting for the comics; you're hunting for the number. You're I'm going to go back to the title and the thumbnail. Do you collect comics, or are you collecting the numbers?
And that's it's possible that some of the folks that engage in this were passionate about the hobby at one point, but the content has soured them. But they don't want to give up the hobby, so they adjust how they participate in it.
Yeah, I can see that.
And because, like I said, I mean, like, I don't gamble. I play a fantasy baseball league reluctantly, but a lot of people love that. And to me, it's kind of, similar to that. It's their way to, I mean, you're not playing against, you're not as much. I mean, you're kind of playing against people by what they do, but it's a way to, the thrill of the hunt, getting that 1 in 1,000 variant or whatever, and number 2, getting it in that high grade, and then seeing if there's anything you can do to make it 1% higher. Because if you do this long enough, you realize these are the epitome of volatile stocks, and there's an excellent chance that if you're in it for profit, you're in the wrong business. So it's sort of like you're playing against yourself. Can I get that up to a 9.9? Because by the time you get it back from CGC, chances are, no one's really looking for that anymore.
That's the grenade that our variant covers, because they are hot. Most of them. Once again, hashtag is Dalton put in here. Hashtag not all. They are the new hot thing, and once the next issue comes out, they're forgotten for the most part. And there are some that have lasted. There's some that stood the test of time as far as variant covers are concerned, but for the most part, and what gets me is the most expensive of them, the 1 in 1,000s, as you're saying. I never hear anybody talking about those. Never. What was it, like Spider-Man 800 or something had 52,000 variant covers come out? Nobody talks about them. Nobody cares. No. One of the things that your comic books need in order to be worth money is people must want them, and that means they must know about them. And a lot of these 1 in 1,000s, nobody knows about them, much less give a shit about them. There are golden age comics you've never heard of that are probably, you could probably get for about $20, $30 tops, because nobody cares. What was the couple of auctions ago? I had Terry Toons number 6, a single digit freaking Terry Toons. And this is from like 1941. It was $6. Now, granted, it wasn't in the best condition, but it wasn't, I'll guarantee you it's just as, if not more rare than a freaking Amazing Fantasy in 15. But, well, that's a bad example because that's the first appearance of Spider-Man. But random Spider-Man, as you're putting up, even if you go into the hundreds, where those Spider-Men are thankfully the affordable price of $15 to $20 each. So,
well, something you mentioned about, like, with most variants, the next month, no one cares about the one from the month before.
Oh, but they care about that new one.
But the big, but just as sad, or I would say even more so, you can say that about the books themselves that the variants come from.
Yeah,
because there's so little being published today that isn't completely disposable. We've talked about that before. Said, where are the great stories from the last 10 years? It does not take long to come up with them.
The what was on in the auction? I had a Artgem Supergirl, which some of them still sell for $10 to $20. But the one I had was written by Tom Taylor, who has been picking up Green Lantern left and right and all the way through center. And therefore, this Artgem cover, which would normally, or before he was doing this, would fetch $10 to $20. Can't get people to look at it. It's a beautiful cover. Can't get people to look at it. It's a variant. It's a B cover. But yeah. Hello, guys, to Dark Admiral. Hello. Dalton saying variant covers are cancerous. Variant covers are kind of like chase cards. They should be. They really should be, I think. I'll pick up a variant, but it's usually a particular artist. I generally don't bother, says Dark Admiral. The best cover for the book, and I agree with this, it should be the book that is on the shelf. That's cover A. If it's your best cover, put it on cover A. Watching on my work break. Well, hello to Austin. We'll try to keep it safe for work. I had a few slabs, but I bought them slabbed, and they're books that are old and delicate at this point. I usually have the collected editions. It's just nice to own a personal grail, of course. And I own the one that Eric gave to me. I absolutely appreciate it. But that's my weirdness. I have weird grails. I mean, of course, if an Action Comics #1 falls into my lap, I might actually slab them. I wouldn't, because they add on that extra charge if it's older. But point being is, I would love something like that. My personal grails tend to be like Brother Power, the Geek 1 and 2, or as you sent Captain Marvel #1, not Captain Marvel either Shazam or what's her name, blonde chick, Ms. Carol Danvers. Thank you. But the MF Productions, where he's a robot and he yells "split" and all his body parts fly around. Those are the grails that I want. I'm looking for a Lobo #1, not Lobo from DC Comics, but Lobo from Dell. I want his first appearance. I'm looking for those weird things that people just. Some people do glom onto them. Some people don't. Of books that I regret, I got one of them back, which is selling, by the way, is the finish of the sentence that I did get the Daredevil red costume back, but I sure do want that Twilight Zone #1 back. I want that. That's, I've got weird grails. Go figure.
I said mine. Yeah, I got one of mine a few months ago when I got the Silver Surfer 4 with the Thor cover.
Yeah.
Which is my favorite cover of all time. And it had paint on it. And so that's I got it cheap, but it was obscuring part of the cover. And I was on a live stream one night, and I was waiting to. There's a guy named Jerry the Jitterbug Collector that restores books. He's somebody that's in our community, and then there's Night Tiger Comics, and he was on the stream. And while I was waiting to get his attention, I took my fingernail, started scraping the cover, and ended up getting most of it off. So for I thought it would cost me several $100s to get that back. And I think I paid $30 for the one that I have. Nice. And then you just flick until I flicked until I realized, okay, yeah, that time I think the cover was coming with it. So I said, okay, that can stay.
Yeah, I like that. That piece of paint is fine.
you can see the whole cover now, and like I said, it's just because like I said, I mean, everybody wants Action Comics 1, Detective 27, Batman, Superman 1, etc. It's AF-15, blah blah blah. I can say I owned AF-15 once. That's going to have to do. So now, like I said, I'm 62. I'm more interested in paying off my house than paying off AF-15. So
yeah,
I say, and there's so much out there that I realize I'm segueing off of the slabbing stuff. There's so much out there that you can. I mean, like I said, you just watch an episode of 4-Color Fossils and just watch the stuff you see, and you go, man, if any of that stuff like sparks interest. They said, thanks to these guys, I went down the Dell rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And I have a bunch of those, old Disney comics that I never paid attention to for 50 some odd years. And now I'm just as happy to get a Walt Disney Comics and Stories as I am getting a Daredevil.
That's probably my most what is it, commercial or well-known Grail is I've never owned a Daredevil #1.
I've had 2.
And that is one more so than Spider-Man. I want the Daredevil #1. That's my boy. That's my character right there. As far as Detective 27, I prefer to have a Detective Comics #1, 2, 3, 4. Even though we just went through and a lot of the covers are iffy, I would rather have anything before that. You know, there's just so many different things out there. A lot of the mainstream ones, okay.
Like Dark Emerald just said, so he said, "Good luck finding the Vickies."
Wait, what? Atlas Seaboard?
That, the 4 or 5 months that Martin Goodman's startup lasted in '75.
Yeah,
they had a title called Vicky that was basically their Millie the Model, but it was, I think they were reprints of.
Oh
something.
wait, didn't I have Vicky #4? Right?
If you had, I would have worked out something.
No, it was Chili. It was Chili. Yeah. Okay, there you go. Okay.
But there were 4 of them, and I had them at one point. They are stupid hard to find, and I found one this time around. But the rest of them are fairly obtainable and not crazy expensive. And that's a fun thing. Yeah, good luck with that. I had all the Atlas keyboards except for they had a couple of magazines that are just so ridiculously rare, and I think they had a digest horror comic of some kind, if I'm thinking of the right company. But the comics themselves, you can finish that if you can find the Vickies.
Okay, I'll keep an eye out. I'll probably never find one, but occasionally. I'm actually surprised at what you can find if you go to a comic book show, and people are just like, yeah, even good books, even the rare ones and such. It's like they're so rare that nobody knows about them. Like I said, in order for this to happen, you have to have people wanting them. And I've seen some decent books in dollar bins and such. Okay, fine. Dark Admiral saying his Ghost Rider #1 is 3.5, but it's cool to have it and able to display it. Psh. Most of the wall books I have are not mint, but they look good on the wall still. I kind of agree with Eric about the so long as that front cover looks good, I don't matter about the rest of them. Hell, that like the first appearance of Zatanna is coverless. I put that on the wall with the freaking pride, man.
Jamie Jambo Comics upgraded his Hulk Annual #1, the Steranko cover where he's holding up the logo.
Yep.
He sent me his old one. It doesn't have a back cover, and I could not care less. Yeah. Because it looks good in that bag, and I've read the story, and I have the story in a trade, so I'm just happy to have it again.
Well, to bring that back around to slabbing and such, that's actually one argument for it. I don't know if it's an argument for it. It's more like an excuse, I think, not an argument, because you're not buying some books you're not getting a Ghost Rider #1 to read. You know, you'll get the Ghost Rider trade to read, but if you're buying a Ghost Rider #1, that's your collection. That's your collection. So why not put it into a slab where they've got that thing? I'll tell you why. Because people you don't know are handling it. And as we found out, in some cases, switching it out with copies that aren't as good. Put it in a frame if you want it on the wall. That's it. Now, I get it. There are people out there, because CGC came out, they think CGC is the be-all, end-all of graders. Therefore, if it says 9.8, then it must be worth $100 more than what the book is actually worth. And once again, the book may only be worth $50, but as soon as CGC slaps a 9.8 on it, all of a sudden people are paying $200, $250, $300, sometimes $1,000. So I'm telling you right now, you're not buying the book, you're buying the 9.8. If you, for less than what you could actually buy the book and send it away and get it slabbed, if you are paying more for that, than actually doing it yourself. You're not buying the book, you're buying the number.
Yeah, and I don't know.
It amazes me. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, so I don't know if this is something that is available, but yeah, Dark Emerald said, my biggest defense of slabbing is preservation. He's absolutely correct.
Yeah,
because there are books that that I know. My Avengers 1 would not have survived another time out of the bag. Why not? Why not? One of these supply companies sell slab your own damn book kits.
You do. They do, by the way.
Okay,
you can go on to Amazon right now and get a slab, get a label, get the whole 9 yards, do it yourself.
Okay, yeah, and you'd have everything but the official number.
Right.
And then you've got, because I said if you're not doing it to flip, then that makes perfect sense. I mean, they look great, and if you've got the story somewhere else, or if you've read the story and you just don't want that thing to fall apart, or you want to keep it as nice as it is, then yeah, I have no problem with that. That's a totally different animal. It's like you have Carbon Dioxide here says, I want Batman 251, a 9.0. That's several $100s, but that's one of the coolest covers I've ever seen. That would look great.
And my argument would be, instead of spending the higher price, well, now granted, I don't know, Carbon Dioxide, he might be new to comic collecting. I don't think so, but he might be new to comic collecting. But you've been around the block a couple times. I've been around the block a couple of times. So I could hold up a comic and go, well, that's mint or near mint, and know that this is going to be a 9 something or an 8 something or a 7. We know we can do it. So instead of spending that $1,000, or, and I'm exaggerating the price to make a point, but instead of spending that, get it at the raw and do it yourself, or send it away if you need that. If you need CGC to put their little number on it, because hey, now's the time to do it, because they've decided in order to get your business back, they're putting 9.9s on more stuff. But it just seems ridiculous the way that these things have the prices have just escalated on CGC books. I've always thought that. I thought maybe you charge people the price of getting it slabbed. Okay, I got a slab for you. You don't have to do it. So this $25 book is now, I don't know how much it is anymore. So it's like $50. I'm going.
Carbon says he's very, very new, but he picked a 50-plus-year-old book as something to go after, and that's cool. As I said, I mean, it's an iconic issue of the arguably the most popular character in fiction. So yeah, that'd be a cool thing to have. I mean, I say, and sometimes, if it's doable, you want your grails in perfect condition if you can pull it off. I mean, I've never, I've always liked having. The only way I was able to complete Marvel was to not be particularly particular about condition, and otherwise, like my friend Jerry, he will not go below, say, a 6.5 or a 7 if he can possibly avoid it.
I would like to say this I would like to just point out to Carbon Dioxide that I don't think it's necessary to have the entire book. I mean, if you're going to slab it, you're going to put it on the wall.
Don't listen to him, Carbon.
Perhaps just the cover.
if your BS sense is going off, that's why.
Since he is also new to the channel. Okay, so I didn't read the entire description, so I actually put what I call a holding bid on this. I thought it was $251, so I was like, yeah, sure, I'll put $10 on it, and that way it'll hold it, and I can watch the progress of the bids going through on this. And I noticed it was not going up, and if it was like by penny, maybe 50 cents, okay, and it actually went up to about $9.50, and I ended up winning it. And it was only the front cover. I didn't read it when I put. I just thought, oh, 251. Okay, let me watch the progress, see if I'll be able to afford this. And I ended up buying just the front cover of Batman.
Well, that doesn't even have the back cover.
No, that's just the front cover. I mean, that I have put it in this bag and backing board. I'm not throwing it away. It is. It reminds me to never do that again. Always read the description.
Yeah,
yeah.
And I'm sure that instills great confidence in the bidders of your auctions.
Well, no, like I said, this mistake is done, man. But on the other hand, once you get it in the bag, it does look good.
Well, I'd put that in a frame and mount it on the wall.
think, I think you're right. I'm going to go get a frame for it at Walmart. They've got those 11 by 18s for like $3 or $4. Yeah, I'll get that. Because it's still a freaking awesome cover.
If you can find if you've got a Michaels in your area, yeah, they have frames for comics, and in most comic shops, if they don't stock them, they have access to them. But you probably already know that because you've framed a bunch of your books.
Oh, Maranya's telling me pay attention. I can think of only 3 books, she says, that should be Slabbed: Action, Detective, and Amazing Fantasy 15 being, of course, one.
I'd slab Superman and Batman #1 too. But
oh yeah, I would agree with a few more. All Star Comics, both 3 and okay, 8. I was thinking 6. I'm like, that's not right. That's the way my freaking head works. I had to talk myself through it. It's not 6. It's 8. Okay. Which, speaking of, All-Star Comics won the vote last night, so we're going to be looking at All-Star Comic covers. We do that every night at 10:30, and tonight is DC Comic #1s from the 1970s. We gathered a whole bunch of what we feel are interesting covers. 15, so it's 3 cover longer than our normal show. And tomorrow we're going to do Marvel #1s from the 1970s. So join us 10:30. Rank these comic book covers with us. It's a lot of fun because we actually really like. We'll look at this. This isn't a #1, but like we'll go through the cover and we'll actually talk about the skyline, how the Joker's suit works, why is it flapping in the wind, all that kind of stuff. And we'll really scrutinize the covers to rank them. It's a lot of fun. It really is. And you look at some books that you may have never seen before or you haven't seen in a long time. It's really cool. It's really cool doing that. So join us at 10:30 every night, pretty much, except for Saturday. So, yeah. All righty. Let's see. Really, I'd be all about slabbing my own. Thanks for the info. So, yeah, I saw them I saw it on Amazon. The freaking slab, the labels. I mean, it doesn't say CGC on it. I don't think it has a hologram either. So, but that's CGC's kind of stamp.
Yeah.
Let's see. Liefeld Youngblood should always be slabbed. Exactly. Do you know why? The very first Image comic ever made. How many times did you accidentally pick up diet soda? Shut up, woman. Depends on what diet soda, in all honesty. Because a lot of them, okay, I could tell the difference, but Sprite, anytime I'm sent for Sprite, I always grab that zero. Yeah, that's a good call, Ethereal, because I've done that a lot. Only on Sprite, though. It's like, okay, I'll just grab this and I put it in. I don't even look. And even though I've done this like 8 or 10 times, I still don't just grab the Sprite, put it in. You would think I would learn. Nope, never going to. As far as buying soda, I am Disney. I'm never going to learn from my mistakes. All right. Let's see. I've made that mistake of not reading closely enough, but I think that's got me beat. It's a good cover, at least. $10 for the fucking cover. The front cover. And yes, Dark Admiral is saying something very smart here, that everybody should remember to smash the like button. And the notification bell if you haven't done that already, too. So, yeah, that'd be cool. The others I want #1s of, but not in slabs, are Iron Man, Submariner, and Iron Man Volume 1. Yeah, I can see that. But, yeah. Let's see. In Australia, here comes the grannies. Oh, wait, what? As far as in panties, or I don't get that. I don't get that quote very much there. All right, but no, that's that. As far as slabs are concerned, obviously, if it's your thing, have at it. There are just ways to go about it, and ways I think, and one of them is messing up the hobby, isn't it? Come on, gang. Of course, I think a lot of that happened because people were getting free money. I mean, when the government's sending you $600 a month for staying home, why not buy comics? You can't do anything else with it at the time.
And there's a lot of people that just aren't interested in going back into the past. They confine their collecting to the present, and that's something they do. Like I said, it's to me, it's just kind of like another way to gamble, and that's.
You want to hear something, and I don't mean this as a pejorative. It's just an observation. The only people I have ever met who like new books are gay. I kid you not. Every time I've been to a comic shop or a book store or whatever, and they're talking about buying the new stuff, gay. Just, I've never met a straight person going, woo, the new Ms. Marvel's out. No, never. Not once.
No, there's, that I said there's a difference between, buying a handful of new comics a month. Like right now, Steve Rude's doing a Nexus. First time he's ever written and drawn.
Okay.
I said, the new Dick Tracy, the new Space Ghost.
Oh, good stuff. Yeah.
The upcoming Johnny Quest, the what is it? Jeremy Adams is about to launch a new Flash Gordon. There are some good indies. Yeah, I said I don't buy any in continuity monthly Marvel titles, and I'm reading 2 DCs, well 3, while Action Comics is crossing over into the Brainiac event.
Yeah.
But yeah, I and then I've got a friend that still stubbornly buys every Marvel because that's his thing. He has, it's like Doc used to have every X-Men and X-Men variant, and he probably did that for 15 years. My friend Mike he knows they're crap, but that's his thing. He just, and he buys back issues. He'll spend hundreds on like a Spider-Man 34 or whatever, but he just buys every Marvel that comes out, and I shudder to think how much money he's wasted, and I'm sure he does too. But
we collect comics the way we do, man.
Yeah.
I stopped buying books for myself. Occasionally, if I buy a collection, something might come in and go, hold on, Gailey. All right, there you go. But occasionally something will come in and I'll be like, oh, I want to keep that one. But overall, yeah, I've just stopped collecting. Hey, hon, how you doing? Cool. How was your day?
Do I hear an air conditioner on here?
We have air conditioning. That's why I'm down. I'm down here during the daytime and not worried about it. Yeah.
Is it working?
It's working. Hey guys, we got air conditioning. All right, she passed it. All righty. So sorry guys, the wife came home. Got to acknowledge and say hello and all that kind of stuff.
Today, the morning was cool. It was 46 this morning.
That's ridiculous. It's in June. The words 40 should not be in a temperature in June. I don't.
Oh, just wait a few days.
Holy, I know it's supposed to get really hot, and thank God we got the air conditioner now. So, like I said, otherwise, because one of the reasons I haven't done a lot of videos, there's a couple of them. One is because I've been busy getting the shop going. This has actually been lucrative for us. Then 2 is because sitting here is so, even at night when we're doing the covers, it's uncomfortable. But yeah, thank God we have air conditioning and such right now. So oh, and by the way, Jay is mentioning R.I.P. to Benny, and I think Hendrik said as well, rest in peace to the comics historian. Saw the tweets. I saw the first tweet. The comic historian was in an accident. His wife tweeted out that he was killed in the accident. And so, you know, thoughts and prayers, as they say. I hope she's doing okay. I hope the family is pulling through. Can't imagine. Can't even freaking, don't even want to imagine what would happen if, you know, Gail was in an accident like that. But there you go. At the very least, for the fans and such of the comic historian, at least she was able to get on and tell everybody this is what's going on. And, you know, because that's one thing when you make a connection with somebody online, you know, and they disappear, more than likely, you're never going to know why. I've even mentioned in a couple of people who've been around here and have just disappeared. Could be that they don't get the notifications anymore. They're tired of my content. That's fine. I hope that's the case, you know. And on the other hand, it's like, wow, what happened? Especially, I know one of the guys that used to be on the auction, used to be a part of the channel quite a bit, was talking about how sick he was, and he just completely disappeared. So, you know, God bless him. I hope he's okay. It's Nolan Nerd, the one I'm talking about now. But yeah. Do you all use the whatnot? I heard about that. I was looking into it, but not yet. I was thinking about that because I heard that's a good place to do auctions as well. I just saw it on Twitter. That man made some great content. I'm sure his family are going to miss him more. Yes. Let's see. 61 Fahrenheit here in Western New York. Yeah, it kills me. I do appreciate it though, because in Florida, they're talk about 95 to 100 degrees. And I step outside at tops. It's been 85, which is nothing. It is. I see the Indianians. Oh my gosh, it's so hot. And I'm thinking, I get to laugh at you now, but you know, come wintertime.
For now, you'll be laughing, because if you're there for a few years, like this weekend, when it's you know 90, humid, no body of water anywhere in sight, or within, you know, you need to take a plane to get to, you know, significant body of water, you're gonna grow to despise it.
Yeah, I have noticed this, by the way. In Florida, there's a water park or a pool around every corner.
or the fact that you're ocean proximity, even if it's like half a state away versus half a country away.
Yeah, we were an hour away from Daytona Beach and about an hour and a half away from New Smyrna, which are good. Daytona Beach is a little more touristy. New Smyrna is basically where the Floridians go. I always preferred the touristy because they keep touristy clean. I prefer that, you know. But yeah, you are right. Let's see. I'm between two of the Great Lakes, says Ethereal. Bet you don't miss. I do not. When I'm hearing what my family's going through, my mom wants to come up. We've talked about it enough. She wants to move. So, yeah. Who is hogging all the heat? It just kills me. This whole Indiana lifestyle, it just kills me. There's nothing to do up here, though. That's definitely one thing. I went garage sale hunting. I had some cash in my pocket. Normally, I don't go garage sale hunting because that's a card thing, right? Whoops, wrong one. But I found this. I actually was looking and I thumbed through it and I was thinking, no, I'm going to pass. But then I drove away, and as I was driving, I was like, that Daffy Duck, that looks old. And so I turned around. I went because they only wanted $2 for the set. This is it's a record set. Yeah. There you go.
That is very cool.
And I was like, $2 for the set. Okay. And I just picked it up and I bought it. Unfortunately, they're missing one of the records. And it's instead it's Hark the Herald Angels Sing by Joe Green. So I am missing one, but I looked it up and this is like 1947.
Yeah, it's probably 78s. I would guess the speed of the records.
Yeah.
And they're and you know, you could use them as Odd Job's hat. They're so thick.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I was actually surprised at that because, you know, I've had records before, but these things they really are. They are.
Up until the mid 60s, they were weapons.
Yeah, you could hurt somebody if you threw this at them.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And you know, you can't get insurance to ship 78s overseas.
Really?
Because they're so brittle.
Wow. Yeah, but I thought, okay, so obviously that's going to go into my shop, and yeah, just that's one of the things. At first I'm very not enjoying being in Indiana versus Florida because of the whole. There's nothing to do here. It's cold, but since we've got here, I opened up the shop. The auction's doing okay, and sometimes it's actually doing very well. We're not paying the prices. We're not paying Florida prices, and all of a sudden, it's like last night. For that wasn't an incredibly successful auction by numbers. Had no worries. No worries. It's very nice. The stuff from the auction before, it's carrying over. Bills are paid, so it's, you know, it's very nice. It's very nice. So yeah, when you ask, I'm doing pretty good here. Thank you. As far as the mental state, plant some corn. We are in an apartment building. A while back, we were at a hotel and they were kicking us out. I got into an argument, and they were kicking us out, and we had to grab something instant. And this was the place we could grab, and it's got a backyard that's this big. There's like no backyard. The most I'm thinking of is I see our neighbors have kind of like a fire pit, and I thought that might be cool. Grab some bricks, let's make a fire pit out of it, and let's put a grill top over it. So while we're enjoying wintertime in the fire, I could throw a steak or two on there. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Whatnot is awesome platform for buying and selling, says Carbon Dioxide. I'm checking into it. I agree that all avenues should be explored. Therial saying avocado is popular but needs more water than most fruits. It's decent to eat. Which, speaking of, in Gail's home, so it's about dinner time. Not that I wait for her to cook. She prefers, by the way, because I use spice. She does not. She won't let me cook chili, by the way, because I prefer, you gotta use the spicy chili beans. You gotta, and sometimes don't use beans because it's not real chili. I don't know. Anyway, we're off, way off topic. Way off topic right now. Sorry I took us there. That being said, you have anything else to add to the conversation there, sir? The slabbing, the collecting, and so forth and so on?
No, not that.
All right.
We covered that. Yeah.
And tonight, once again, ladies and gentlemen, join us 10:30. We've been doing this every night. It's a lot of fun, and your vote does count. And we are going to be looking at and ranking 15 DC number ones from the 1970s. Tomorrow, we're going to be doing Marvel. We're just going to go through, and we're picking out covers we think might be. It doesn't necessarily have to be the most famous, but we want some interesting. Like we tried to get a little sword and sorcery. We tried to get a little action, adventure, and superhero, obviously. And yeah, we're going to be doing the same thing for Marvel tomorrow. Join us tonight, 10:30. Also, I do believe you guys have a best of
top 5. It's where we
top 5. Okay.
We picked the top 5 books we plan to pick up tomorrow, and then Thursday night we see if they lived up to their advanced billing.
All righty. I might compete with you guys. If Gail and I aren't doing anything, I might call Dalton and read one of these really bad comic, do a bad comic beatdown.
It's the most interest we can garner from modern comics.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, tomorrow helps because, like I said, there's Geiger's out tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
The new Gotham by Gaslight. Dick Tracy. My current favorite indie comic, something called Torpedo 1972. It's by the artist of 100 Bullets.
Okay.
And a writer that kind of is getting his Brian Azzarello on for this story. It's just, To quote Lee Marvin in Point Blank, it's just mean. So
right.
it's something like I said. Yeah, there's actually, there's the days of getting 15, 20 new books a week. That ship has long sailed.
That ship is priced out.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, that it's hard to do anymore unless you got a better job than I do. I know that for sure. And I'm expecting in a couple of days. I'm expecting the big dogs and such. So I'll be doing an unboxing. We talked about a couple of the Dells. I'm getting some Looney Tunes, some Disney, and looking forward to that. Seeing what comes in and such. That being said, Dave's in. Time to go. And one Slick Dude come in while we're saying goodbye. That being said, guys, join us tonight, 10:30 Eastern. Thank you very much for hanging out for the conversation. Thanks for joining me. Don't forget to do all the liking and sharing and that kind of stuff. The channel needs help, kids. And that being said, go on over to Ko-Fi. Drop $1 in the till. That's something to do, too. Hey, all right. Thank everybody who's already done that. To everyone, all of the true believers, thank you very, very much for watching. Have a good day, kids.
See you tonight, hopefully.
All right. There we go. Now I hit the have fun.